Hey everybody, Brian over at Strong Tower Training, and I wanted to bring you an educational series on neuro training, so training the nervous system from a brain-based approach to make improvements, whether it's balance, strength, range of motion, agility, coordination, that then allows you to do life better and do your hobbies better. Just wanted to give some educational background because how we approach things is different, and when people enter into that system, sometimes it really helps, or maybe they're curious and they're a little bit wary because they see like, oh, we post some weird like vision drill or something on Instagram or Facebook, and they're like, that's kind of an odd gym, like I don't know about that as far as how that applies to my fitness. So if you're curious about it, great. If you're a current member and you're still curious about it or don't understand all the ins and outs, just wanted to shoot sort of like basics of neurology in an education series to help you understand why we do what we do. So the first kind of idea to really get down is that there's three primary systems. So in improving movement, we need your movement maps or your movement system. It's also a fancy word for it is proprioception. We need that to function really well. We also need your vision and your vestibular system or your inner ear balance mechanism to be on board to improve movement as well. So we train those three systems. Important things to understand about those systems: the brain's in charge of all three. So the brain governs the actions and the outputs for all three, as well as the interpretation of the inputs happens at the brain level. So we get an input, the brain interprets that input, makes a decision about it, and then creates an output. So the other piece here is all three of these systems, movement, vision, and balance, are trainable skills. That's great because it means that we can improve them. It also means if we sit at a desk a lot, we don't train the balance system, we don't train vestibular or visual system, and we look at a screen all day, we're going to get better at doing that, which actually creates negative change in the brain. And so we want to help you get outside of that and make positive change in these three areas, because a compromise in one system actually can affect the entire system. A compromise in one area affects the other two as well. So down here, the goal of training for us and the goal as far as like what we want to help people do is to achieve really optimal function, because that helps you with like part of our mission statement is to help you make the rest of your life the best of your life. And we really want you to be able to function really well, do whatever you want to do. So to achieve 100% optimal function, and if we grossly simplified this is really an oversimplification because vision's a little bit more important than the other two. But anyways, let's just say, for the sake of the video, keep it simple: a third vision, a third movement, a third vestibular. So if you add that up to 100%, we want to get a good 33.3 repeating percent score in each area and say, hey, this person's functioning at a super high level. That's going to play out in energy production, daily function, doing everything that you want to do. Let's say this person, though, in an example, just randomly picking numbers here, let's say their visual system is a little compromised, so they're functioning at 20%. Their movement system is a little compromised, so they're functioning at 25%. Their vestibular system maybe is a little compromised too, so it's functioning at 20%. And I don't mean compromised in the sense that they have vertigo or they had a TBI or like there's some major diagnosed condition. I'm saying a lot of this stuff actually sneaks under the radar. So maybe there was that stumble outside off the curb, or maybe there was that fall down the stairs and a little bit of a head bump. So you went in, got checked out, no big deal, right? So nothing diagnosable. But what there can be is still some underlying issues that just brought in a little bit of a functional deficit there. So if this person, we add those numbers together, they're functioning at 65% of their total maximal capacity. And they might actually be coping and getting by, compensating and doing all right at that capacity. But you can see too now, if we start to improve one system and it impacts the other two, then when we train one, we're going to see a bigger overall improvement across the board, getting you closer to that 100% optimal function. If we ignore vision and vestibular and never work on those, and we just try to cue somebody over and over again. We'll work deeper into your squat, or let's stretch the muscle harder. Let's push on it. Let's try some myofascial release. Let's get more massages. Those are great, and then maybe they increase blood flow. Maybe there's some benefits there. But for the most part, if we're ignoring these two systems, vision and vestibular, we're going to see very short-term improvements in movement, if any. So all the passive techniques, stretching it, cramming on it, they're not going to do anything locally for the tissue if your brain at the visual or vestibular level is not functioning at its peak capacity, because the brain controls movement, it controls muscle tension, it controls blood pressure, it controls heart rate, a whole lot of autonomic processes that happen at the brainstem level. Those things will not improve long-term if we don't address the other issues going on. So this is kind of like part one of our neuro education series. I hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you in part two.